What is up, guys? Welcome back to Turf Wars with Chase and Josh. We are continuing the series talking about the draft classes for every team, every division. Last episode we had Jones on with us as a special guest, and we covered the NFC North. And this episode, just Josh and I are going to be covering the AFC North. Um, but just to jump right into it, man, the big news right now is DeAndre Hopkins, and we were just kind of talking about before we started recording. But is I do want to do the wager, but we both kind of talked about it. We were thinking about doing our, you know,
We can. I was
you go
gonna
ahead.
say, since we both think he's going to the same team, we can wager a backup team.
We could say contract, and
Let's just
you
do
know,
backup team. So if he doesn't go to who we think he goes to,
so we both think he's going to the Chiefs.
yeah.
Um, if he doesn't go Chiefs, mm,
Let me go first.
you go ahead.
I think he's going to the Jets if he doesn't go to the Chiefs.
You think he's going to the Jets, dude? No way
Yeah.
they have the money to
Mm.
do it, dude. He
I
still
think
said
they'll
he was
figure
looking
it
for a
out.
significant contract. So
I think the Jets can figure it out.
I've got a few teams I like. I'm low key pulling for the Panthers to get him. Um, they have the money to do it. They have like the second most cap space behind the Bears. Do I think it's realistic? I think they should. I mean, the argument about the Panthers is like, does it hinder or help Terrace Marshall and Mingo? Like, because they're obviously going to get snaps taken away, but given Bryce Young, Adam Thielen, and DeAndre Hopkins, that's pretty strong. But I don't think the Panthers are going to get him. I don't
That's
think
a
they're going to
that's a
try.
that's your dream.
Yeah, yeah, I don't think it's realistic. They have the money to do it, so they could swoop in there and give an offer. But um, my backup team, I'm going Browns, dude.
I like that.
After all the reports today,
I've seen a lot of stuff too. I mean, he posted that video. I think it was yesterday of like the Patriots in the weight room or something.
yeah.
But
So
so,
we both think
but
our number one
I
team is
think
the
just
Chiefs.
I think other sleeper teams could be like they've mentioned the Raiders, possibly the Ravens,
The
maybe.
Ravens, yeah.
Yeah. But
So you're so
I
would
think Hopkins is to the point. I mean, I know he wants the money, but would you rather take a 2-year deal with Aaron Rodgers in New York or with the Chiefs or go to,
bro,
the Patriots on a 4-year deal?
he's already getting paid for this year. Like
He's getting paid like 20 million.
yeah, to get cut. Like,
Yeah,
what are
I
you?
know. I'd want
You're
to go
already
play
getting
with the
paid for this
Jets or
year.
the Chiefs or
But
the Bills or somebody.
at the
But
same time, if you know you can get another 15 plus, why would you not want
I
him?
don't know.
I mean, that's generational money.
I think he truly cares about winning though too.
Maybe. The guy also doesn't practice every
I
day.
mean,
He
yeah,
only
I mean,
practices like 2 days a week.
we'll see
So
if he cares about them, if he cares about winning or not. I mean, if he signs a 6-year deal with the Green Bay Packers, then he
yeah.
doesn't care about winning.
Well,
But
he went from I want, all the talk is he wants a quarterback who loves the game, an elite defense, and he originally didn't care about the money.
is that
But
not the
now
Jets?
he's
Is that not the Jets?
but
Elite defense and a quarterback who loves the game.
that's the Panthers. What are you
No,
talking
it's not.
about? No, but and then he was talking about how he wasn't looking for money, but now that he's a free agent, he is. So I think his priorities are going to change once he starts seeing teams offer the money because it's not a
I
trade
think
anymore.
if the Jets were to somehow find a way to offer him 15 a year, or let's just do a 3-year deal, but
That's a steal, man.
say the third year's a player option or like voidable or something.
Yeah,
I think I don't
yeah.
know. I don't know.
So you got
Or
Jets.
not even necessarily the Jets. If the Chiefs, Jets, Bills, like any contender offers him that, I think
Yeah.
it'd be hard to turn down.
So I'm going
But
to say we both think the Chiefs, but for
yeah,
backup plans, you got Jets, I got Browns, and let's do if it is the Chiefs, let's do contract. So maybe which that's kind of a tough one to bet,
all right.
but we'll just stick with if it's not the Chiefs, we'll go with Jets and
We'll do,
Browns.
yeah, I
But
like
let's
that.
let's jump right into
But hold on, last little thing on that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
If he does go to the Chiefs, I mean they're winning the Super Bowl again.
It doesn't matter if he does; they're still probably going to be up there. You know,
I think can rival him as long as Rodgers stays healthy the whole year or something.
DeAndre
The Jets
Hopkins,
roster is
DeAndre Hopkins, and Travis Kelsey on the field at the same time.
oh yeah, they're no if he
That's
goes there, they're winning the Super Bowl again.
that's not
Like
gonna be fun, dude. Oh god.
it's gonna be unreal.
Then you got the fantasy implications with where does he get picked now? But he's also 30, what, 31, 30 years
Yeah.
old.
I picked him
So
last year. I picked him last year knowing he was gonna serve an 8 game suspension, and I still won the title in my fantasy league.
yeah,
I mean he's an absolute
Jones picked him and held
baller.
on to him all year last year. But
Did he win y'all's league?
no, I think Josh, no, Evan won our league this year, dude. But
Dang.
but we're gonna let's jump right into draft classes. Is the screen shared?
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna go over here. We're gonna start with Baltimore. So we're gonna kind of go a little quicker over these. Like we kind of waste some time talking about stuff that's you know you not stuff that doesn't matter, but once we start getting the teams that have 8, 9, 10 picks, and we're talking about a guy that was picked in the seventh round, it's like who cares? No offense to any of those guys that
There's
just picked in
actually
the seventh round. There's some
there's
good
a seventh
guys.
round there's a seventh rounder I like in this draft class right here.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but just to my point, we're just gonna kind of go over, say what we think about the class, maybe favorite player, and then give our grade. So, but so you go ahead, man. What's your overall thoughts?
They didn't have like a ton of picks, They had six. I like Flowers and I like Voorhees. Other than that, I
Yeah,
didn't love the draft. I don't hate it. Like Simpson, he could be upside. You're
yeah,
always looking for a backup linebackers, special teams, and if he breaks through, great. But Baltimore has a pretty solid defense.
yeah.
They always do. So I mean, just more depth. But
Well, the
I
Ravens.
really do like the Voorhees pick though.
Yeah, I was a fan of that too. Voorhees was a. I didn't think he was going to seventh round. I thought he was going to be the fourth or fifth, maybe even sneak
Yeah,
up there earlier. But he, um, the Ravens always have good drafts. Last year's was really good, getting Kyle Hamilton and Lindebaum in the same draft. But this year, man, Zay Flowers was good. You couldn't really go wrong with those top four receivers. Um, Simpson, like I said, I like the Clemson guys. I was praying we picked him at 39, where we picked Mingo, which I'm happy with the Mingo pick. But Simpson, I thought he was going to go way fat, way sooner than third round.
yeah,
But seeing him fall for them to walk away with arguably the best receiver, whoever depends on who's talking about it. A lot of people had Zay Flowers as their one, and then didn't have a pick in the second and still get Trenton Simpson to add to their already elite defense. I mean, I think he competes for a spot immediately. Whether they have him as an inside linebacker, I think he can fly everywhere. But what is Patrick Queen leaving? Is he? What was the deal with
that's
that?
it. I don't think so. I think he's still going to be their starter.
Was he demanding more money, or what was the
Did
something
they?
about Patrick Queen
I
that
don't
they didn't
know.
take his fifth year or something?
I think it was
Uh,
the fifth year or something like
yeah.
that. But
So
I mean,
Simpson,
Queen's still a good player. I mean,
he's a
I
good
think
linebacker. He'll
he's going
have
to
a
start.
market. He'll have a market. But I think Simpson gives them a okay. If you want money, go ahead. Because Simpson
Yeah,
he offers the same exact athletic upside, maybe even more. His motor is hot. He was arguably my it was between him and KJ Henry were my favorite players coming out of Clemson this year, even over one of the Bengals picks, Miles Murphy, and but anyways, besides the point. I agree. Zay Flowers couldn't go wrong. Voorhees, great pick. And then I thought they would go corner sooner with how good the corners were. Um, I don't know much about the Kelly kid, but um, who did they just
I feel
lose?
like it's just from 4 to 6. It's just like they didn't do anything that just like
It's dart
wowed you.
throws. Yeah, it's just
Yeah,
dart
I mean, I
throws.
know, but it was.
But what corners? Let me see. Let's look at their depth chart. So they went from.
I think they have good corners.
I
They
thought they
did pick up Rock
lost
Ya-Sin.
Rock
Maybe
Ya-Sin
they
and
did.
Tyus Bowser. Oh
No,
no,
that's
that's
their
linebacker.
linebacker.
No, Rock
It's Marlon
Ya-Sin.
Humphrey.
Marlon Humphrey's their number one.
Yeah,
Rock Ya-Sin is good. Can't he's not he's definitely not a bad corner.
I
He'll
think
stay
he's
on
a
the field,
solid number
but
two.
with what they had on the, I thought they would go corner sooner. They had Roquan Smith and Patrick Queen at linebacker. Their D line
Where's
is,
their slot corner? I guess it's just one of the second string dudes.
yeah. The only name that's kind of ringing a bell is Armour Davis and Seymour. I don't know much about Brandon Stevens or Williams. And then they signed Trayvon Mullen from the Raiders. When they could, I mean, he was a pretty high valued kid coming out. But anyways, like I said, Ravens usually draft pretty well. One of these three guys might end up being a starter, and we don't even know. So,
Yeah.
but we like the Voorhees pick. Love the Simpson pick, me personally, and then Zay Flowers can't go wrong. So, what's your overall grade?
Uh, I think C plus.
C
I
plus.
like their first pick. I like their last pick. Didn't love anything in the middle.
Yeah,
Simpson, maybe he had some upside, but I think a little bit better than average. I mean, you get like you said. I mean, he wasn't my number one wide receiver, but in some people's eyes, he was the number one receiver in the class. And if they think they got the best receiver in the class, that's only going to help Lamar and their offense. So,
yeah.
you know,
I'm sitting right there with you. I'm gonna give it a C. I think it's average. I think the lack of picks. I don't even think they moved up or down. Well, it says they moved here for Voorhees. So I guess either they traded up or down. I don't even know. Um, but that
I think they might
you're
have
bringing back
traded up.
Lamar. You're trying to build around Lamar, which they really haven't done. They got
That was the
Odell.
best. That was the best thing they did all season. Was just get
Yeah,
Lamar, son.
that's all they had to do. But I I thought they might be a little more aggressive, like I said, with especially corner or maybe another weapon on offense, with like a running back
Yeah,
or they got Mark Andrews, who's a great tight end. So it's C is average for me. So C plus is, I mean, I think I agree with it too, but I'm gonna give it a C. Trenton Simpson pushes the needle for me, but I'm gonna stick with a C. So just overall pretty average class. So let's jump into the next
Cincinnati.
one, Cincinnati. So this one, I like this one a lot.
I
I'm just
like it.
gonna jump right into it, man. I'm a huge, like I said, I like Clemson. So Miles Murphy, I can't believe he fell as far as he did. He was early in the year, mid season, was getting, projected top 10, top 12, then kind of slip. Almost slipped out of the first round, which is crazy to me. Him and Brian Brisset both slipped almost out of the first round. I think they went back to back picks, recently to the Saints. But Miles Murphy, horrible 2022 year, tape, stats, all of it. 2021, he was elite. That's why he was so, highly regarded. He's got the upside, got the physical traits. I mean, 6'5", 270, and he's, freak athlete. Just gotta hone it in and find the skill set. Super fan of DJ Turner. Can't go wrong with the corners. The corners were so good in those first two rounds. Back to the Ravens, it's like I can't believe they would pass on some of these corners when they didn't really need linebacker. So and then Jordan Battle, he played opposite of Brian Branch.
They
Um,
lost one of their safeties too. I'm pretty sure.
yeah,
So
they
that's
they
a
lost,
big.
yeah, to us, Von Bell.
Yeah,
Von Bell came to Carolina, and that was Von Bell's a very good safety. And Jordan Battle, man, he played across
just
from
save that
Branch.
money. Save that money so
Yeah,
they can pay all their weapons.
yeah, and he's
I like Battle a lot. I think he's gonna be good.
I was a fan of Battle. Oh, they also lost Jesse Bates.
Yeah.
So
I knew they lost one of the safeties.
yeah,
They lost both. I
Branch
think Bates.
Branch,
I think Bates went to Atlanta. I'm pretty sure.
yeah, that's what it was. They both came to NFC
Yeah.
South. Did Branch went to Bama, right? Am I thinking correct?
Yeah, he did.
Okay, yes, because they played, yeah.
Yeah.
So they complemented each other. He looked, maybe not as explosive as Branch. Overall, Branch is definitely the better safety, but Battle was right up there in the top two or three, safeties on the board. Um, so, and like I said, never can go wrong with drafting Bama players. It's
Yeah.
you're as close to the NFL as you can get. And then hate the punter, hate punter picks. Never want them. Never want kicker kick picks.
What if
But
he's the best punter of all time?
I, so what? I mean, I understand that it's important. Kickers and punters are important. A really
They
good punt could change the turn of a game. But the odds of them impacting like a freak athlete, tight end, or receiver could in your team, the punter is even going to make your roster. So it's I don't know. I guess it's where do you weigh
Yeah.
going to pay a veteran punter or just drafting a rookie real cheap and then you get a kicker for 4 years, for
Well, the
dirt
last
cheap.
time they drafted special teams, it worked out really good for them.
Yeah,
Evan
true.
McPherson, he's a top 10 kicker in the league. So it's,
Good point.
you know,
There's arguments against me. Like, I hate it just because I think it stems from Matt Rule and the Thomas Fletcher long snapper phone call and them hyping that up like it was so awesome. And we passed over Trey Smith from, is it Tennessee or Texas, wherever he came from, the guard that now starts for the Chiefs and just won a Super Bowl.
I think it was Tennessee.
And
Don't
he
quote me
was
on it,
he
but
was as a rookie, he was like a top 8 guard in the league. Him and Creed Humphrey were
yeah.
both just, I mean, and they picked him in the 7th round, and we're sitting there drafting a long snapper in the 6th. So that's kind of where it comes from. But
I
ball snap. Anyways, what do you think about the class?
I kind of I disagree with you a little bit. I don't love Miles Murphy. Um,
It's 50.
I
A
would have
lot of
much
people are
rather
torn
him.
on him.
I would have much rather him seen. I mean, Michael Mayer was still on the board. I've said that for a lot of teams, but I'm really high on Mayer. You know, I felt like Cincy with the weapons they already have, add a tight end.
And
I
they
mean,
just lost Hayden
who are you gonna
Hurst.
cover? Who are you
Hayden
gonna
Hurst
cover?
just came to Carolina. So, depending on
But
your opinion on Hurst, he was a good tight end. So,
yeah, I mean, I think he's solid, but I think Mayer's gonna be more than just a good tight end in the league. That's how
yeah,
I view him. But I'm a little down on Murphy more than you are. I
yeah.
love DJ Turner. I love Jordan Battle. And one of the other picks that, it may it might not seem not like much now because they still have Mixon. Chase Brown out of Illinois.
Think so?
Illinois, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
I like it. I do like him a lot.
Yeah.
But
It's all depends on what happens with Mixon, man. But running backs are running
I see
backs.
it's oh I mean, there was some talk early in the offseason they were thinking about releasing Mixon. I don't see him doing it now, but I mean, I think his
If
contract's
they've
up
stuck
after this
around this
year.
long, yeah.
Yeah. I think his contract's up after this year, and they're not going to re-sign him. They're not going to have the money. So it's like, so I like the
Well, as
Chase
good as
Brown
that
pick.
offense is, he is still a foundation piece of that offense.
Oh
That
yeah,
man's
and
a
now
good he's a good
he
running
helped
back.
he
So
helped win me the league this year in
yeah,
fantasy.
I had a huge
But
trade for him in fantasy this year that involved him
but
coming to
he's
my
kind of
team.
had some off the field stuff too, and it's just like
Yeah.
you know
Well, he this team is their Super Bowl windows open as long as Joe Burrow is their quarterback. They're going to be picking in the 25 to 32 range. They're, for me, the Miles Murphy pick to be able to pick at 29 and still get one of those guys that have that upside is why I'm so excited about it. But this was totally the offense is pretty set right now. Let's invest in the defense and go from there. You can't, you
yeah.
cannot sustain unless you're Mahomes. Mahomes is one of the first ones to do it, but you cannot sustain that. The Patriots were the Patriots because no matter what they were holding their opponents under 24 every time. I mean it was just not every game obviously, but the defense was the Patriots defense, and Belichick's a defensive coach.
That's why I think the Jets really had the potential because they had the defense last year. The problem
Yeah,
was they were scoring 0 points and 3 points and
yeah,
losing, but they were
and they got
holding their opponents to like
yeah,
10.
and they've got Salah as their coach, so it's kind of a match made in
Yeah,
heaven over there. But, so what do you give this class for a grade?
I'm giving them B plus. I really like this class.
Gotcha. I'm again. I'm right there with you. They had a couple more picks. I'm gonna give this one a Jordan Battle. Getting Jordan Battle in the third, I was excited about. I'm gonna give it a B minus. Above average, like we said, C is average for us. An A
Yeah,
is hard to reach, so this one was almost an A for you. But if
yeah, I
you
like
walk
this
away
one a
with
lot.
3 starters almost, Jordan Battle's gonna immediately have to start almost.
Well, and that's why I
Um,
don't love Murphy. I don't love him, but he's the starter day one
yeah.
for him.
Oh, I
So it's
forgot
like,
they signed Irv Smith at tight end. And they
yeah,
got
still.
Kappa at guard and Orlando Brown. Yeah, They're sitting pretty. They're sitting pretty. This team
See,
is.
it shows Sam Hubbard right now over Murphy. I think Murphy
Yeah,
competes.
I think Murphy takes that job.
Yeah,
And then Trey Hendrickson broke out.
he's a
He's
monster.
he's a monster. And then they got DJ Reader at tackle. I mean, their D line's good. And if Murphy can just not have, you're not depending because you have Reader and you have Hendrickson, you're not dependent on Murphy to produce immediately. So that
Yeah,
upside that you're hoping for, he can kind of take his time. But this was totally investment
it
in the
shows they
defense
got
type draft.
it shows they got Jordan Battle as a second string. He's gonna win the job. I think.
Yeah, over Nick Scott and Dax Hill, he'll take one of them.
Yeah,
But and then I was. This is another one of those teams that surprised they didn't go corner. Um,
yeah.
or they. I mean, they went DJ Turner. So I guess he comes in immediately, but thought they would have gone even more. But Taylor Britt's not a bad one. And Awuzi's a pretty good corner. So we'll see how it goes. It was an investment in the future on the defense. Got to have it for these Super Bowl teams. Because if you can't stop Mahomes at least once, it's not it's not much you can do.
Going forward with it's kind of the reason I would have loved Mayer now because for the foreseeable future, most of their drafts are going to be defense every year. They're going to
Yeah,
get Burrow locked up. They're going to get Chase locked up. They're going to try to get T Higgins locked up. All they need is a running back and a tight end, and they had
Higgins
the
is
chance to
gone,
get a
man.
tight end.
Higgins is
I
gone.
think they're going to find a way.
Irv Smith has upside. Irv Smith was he a first round
Yeah,
pick?
but
Do you remember?
I'm not sure. I'm not
Because
sure.
he had some injury problems in Minnesota, and he was supposed
But
to be the guy in Minnesota taking Rudolph's spot.
yeah,
But the offense is good. No matter what, you got Burrow in the field. So, um, but let's jump into Cleveland. So this is I'll let you go ahead and start off with this one.
uh, I kind of like Cedric Tillman. Other than that, Dewan Jones has upside, but don't love him. I do. I really like Weipler. And, Dorian Thompson Robinson probably plays a similar style game to Deshaun Watson. So, I mean, if he could eventually become the quarterback too,
Mm-hmm.
it'd help this class, but I'm not crazy about this class.
Yep, I'm in agreement. Which for the first pick to be in the third round, I think Tillman was a great pick. Remember Tillman was my guy before the draft started. I was saying Tillman was going to be my sleeper no matter where he goes, and for him to go to Cleveland and they're looking at their depth chart at receiver,
They
you know
got
Peoples Jones
Amari.
is underrated. Elijah Moore and Amari
Yeah.
Cooper, that's a good one too. You got to get
They got David Bell too.
yep, and Njoku, man. But
And Joko, and as much I like him too. I mean, I'd take him on the Colts tomorrow.
yeah,
He's underperformed for his career though. As
yeah,
big as he is, he's massive. Dude,
yeah.
he is
You
I
would think
mean,
he would, which a lot of tight ends do not break out until their fourth or fifth year. A lot of tight ends take a while.
who's the biggest defensive lineman in the league? Just Miles Garrett probably on
Calais
the Browns.
Campbell,
Or he's a D tackle. I'm thinking like DN. Miles Garrett is probably like the most ripped stud
him
there
and
is.
them and the Bosa's.
And Joku he is that, but he's on the
Yeah,
offensive side of the ball. And I just feel like if they just target him more, he could and Joku could take over games.
I mean he had
He is
80 targets
huge.
last year. You know,
Yeah, it's
so that was
58 catches though.
he had his best year, which dude, 58 catches out of a tight end position. A lot like, obviously tight ends are getting used more and more, but a lot of teams are using two tight ends. It's just but Njoku, he could if he takes a jump, um, and then
I mean,
you got
Joku should be 1,000-yard receiver with 7 touchdowns every year.
he's that athletic.
Yeah, I mean he's just as athletic as Kelsey or
Probably
Gronk
more,
ever was.
but
Yeah,
athleticism doesn't correlate to route running too. So but to go back to it, man, if Elijah Moore takes a huge jump, that receiving core is not that bad. Like that's that's pretty dang good. It's better
I
than
mean
a lot of teams.
Watson has nothing to complain about.
No,
Look,
they've
go back to where you just were. Go back to the team. Nick Chubb,
Yeah.
top 5 running back in the league.
Yeah.
Amari Cooper, solid one. Like we said, great depth at receiver. And Joku has the potential to be a top 7 tight end in the league.
And they still have
And
Harrison Bryant and Jordan Akins at tight end too.
look at their offensive line.
Yeah. Yeah. And they
And
added,
Watson has no. I
no
mean, there's
complaints.
nothing.
For them to lose everything they did draft wise, they did pretty good in this draft overall.
Yeah,
They got two Ohio State. I was a fan of both Ohio State picks. I was a
I
fan of
like
Weipler.
I like Weichler a
Um,
lot more than I like Dwan Jones.
same. But they spent a fourth round pick. ESPN has them at an
Yeah,
81 grade. The
yeah.
got six
Well, I
eight
think
three seventy
yeah,
five,
he's
dude.
big. I think
Holy.
I think teams. I think I saw some mocks of him going like second and third round. So to get him in the fourth, I don't hate that pick though.
Yeah. And how isn't Thompson, is he like freak athlete or is he just kind of Deshaun athlete?
I think he's kind of Deshaun. He might be a little more athletic than Deshaun, but people
Says
forget
instinctive
Deshaun.
open field with good speed and ability to make defenders miss. I'm thinking like,
Yeah,
man, what if he athletic enough to play that Taysom Hill role? You know, and he's just kind of that gadget quarterback. Can throw the ball. He's a
yeah.
good backup, but can also contribute more than
Well,
just
who's their backup right now?
Dobbs, Josh
Dobbs.
Dobbs.
He,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, if
But
Thompson is shows any signs in preseason, I'd rather keep him as my quarterback too. You know
for
what
them
Dobbs
to,
is.
yeah, exactly. Like I said, Tillman's my guy. That is my guy in this draft. I actually was, like I said, I was starting to pull for him over Hyatt coming into the draft, but I think Tillman could, this is just me personally because he's my guy, but he could end up being that number two immediately over Peoples Jones and Elijah Moore, and could have that number one potential. I mean, he's got the size all for it. He's got the speed, catches everything you throw near him, and he's kind of that AJ Brown, if you ask me. But their receiving core is good for them to, I'm just gonna jump into the grade, man. For them to have not a pick until the third round, and they're getting Siaki Ika, however you say that, he'll probably see the field immediately. Tillman, who knows? It depends on Moore and Peoples Jones. I'm gonna give it a C plus. Um, I think it's above average overall. Like I said, all things considered, not picking until the third round, you get a high upside receiver, some depth at some positions. Weipler and Dewan Jones learning from behind the O line they already have could be really good players. And then they didn't need a quarterback, but if Thompson Robinson could be something more than just a backup quarterback, that's a win in my book. So I'm gonna give it a C plus.
I'm kind of right there with you. I don't think they gained a ton, maybe one starter at most, I think, and not having the first 2 round picks. Now we know, I mean, they went for Deshaun Watson, but if I'm looking at just what they picked, I think it's right at a C. Kind of right there with
Gotcha.
you. I'm
So
not
right at
as high on
average.
like DeWine Jones, but yeah, I think it's pretty average.
Yeah.
But I do, if some of these dudes pan out though, if DeWine Jones is better than I think he is, if Tillman is as good as you think he'll be, if I mean I like Weipler, if he turns out to be their starting center in a year, 2 years, then maybe in 2 years you reevaluate. You say we got a starting tackle, a starting center, and a starting wide receiver. So it
Yep.
could. I don't
For what
love it though.
that's the only reason I gave it a C plus is for what they had. I think they took advantage of it. But
Yeah,
let's just jump right into the next one, man. I think this the last one of the division,
yeah.
Steelers. So I'll let you go first, man.
Once again, didn't love Broderick Jones. I actually I'd have took Joey Porter at 14 and then tried to get Broderick Jones in the second. But I think
Mm-hmm.
tackles were starting to fly off the board, so it
Yeah.
was because I think Tennessee drafted the tackle from
Oh
Northwestern,
yeah, no,
or is it
Skronsky,
TC? Yeah,
Skronsky and
Skronsky.
Paris John. What's his name? The
Right.
guy
Yeah, I
from
think it was
Ohio
Paris
State.
Johnson.
They
They
both
both
went
went before him, so I
exactly.
think they saw that and they were like, "We need to
They
get a
had to
tackle
do it, and
now."
they
But
need O line bad.
yeah, it was
They
crazy.
Their O line is not good, so they picked for need, and they got a top four tackle in the class.
Yeah,
But I
I love
agree. If it
Darnell
was
Washington too.
if you could pick just best player, I think Joey Porter was a better player coming in. Um, but
Yeah.
yeah, you
I like
could
that. I love Darnell Washington too, though.
yeah, agreed.
But
And then I liked Herbig. I thought the Panthers are going to be targeting him late linebacker wise. We actually didn't end up not going linebacker. We went, DJ Johnson, but he's going to be probably more of an edge. Set the edge, pass rusher kind of guy. But yeah, I they had to go Broderick Jones. He's perfect size, everything like that. Played on, you know, best team in the country. Plays the best, goes against the best defensive line in the country every year in practice, every day in practice. The guy's he's going to start immediately, I believe. Porter
yeah,
going to start immediately. Keanu Benton, like man, ESPN has him as an 86. Wisconsin knows how to feed those
I
boys.
heard a lot about him, like pre-draft.
Keanu Benton,
Yeah,
yeah, pass rusher at the D tackle position. That's I mean they have him as the third ranked D tackle in the class, and they got him in the second round. But and then Darnell Washington falling to three. I started to slip on him a little bit, athleticism wise. I know he broke all the records at the
I think he's just
combine.
an. I think he's just an. If he gives you anything in the passing game, it's all you know, like upside. Day one, you put him on the field, he's an extra offensive lineman. He's
He
huge.
is,
Did you see
but
the
can
video of
he?
him pile driving the
Yeah,
shed?
yeah,
I mean, tight end like Mayer did the same thing. He was moving it, but Darnell Washington was picking that thing up like a
yeah.
inflatable pool toy or
Well,
something.
they
Like
had a
I
lot of
don't even
men.
know.
They had him as a first round pick, him and Mayer both, and the man fell to the third round. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't
Yeah.
believe the Panthers didn't take him. But anyways, then you got Herbig. Like I said, I was a pretty big fan of it in the fourth round. Good pick. I think he'll get on the field pretty soon. Um, the Steelers like their I don't even know if he's white or not,
Linebackers.
but they like their white linebackers. Did they still have Schobert? Is Joe Schobert still a Steeler or was he a Brown?
I'm, I, he was on the Jags at one point, I'm pretty sure.
Let's look at their defense. Um,
They got Cole Holcomb.
man, their defenses. They already have Joey Porter as their number two.
Yeah,
Um,
he's gonna
and
start.
Trice, another guy they just drafted, is right up there, man. Um, man, Keanu Neal as a backup safety. Yeah, this defense is fun. Tanner Muse, another white linebacker. But
Picked up Patrick Peterson too.
yeah, this team's gonna take a big step. It's all on Pickett's shoulders. They've got the running back. They've got some
They're
good
just in a
receivers.
tough division.
They're in a very tough division.
You know,
And a tough
they're not better.
conference.
They're not better than the Bengals. I don't think they're
If
better than the Ravens. Are they? The question is, are they better than the Browns? Which I don't think so either.
they've got coaching on their side,
I
their O
agree.
line is still really bad.
I think Mike Tomlin is the most underrated coach in the league.
I think so. Um,
He's never had a losing season
yeah,
until or ever. I don't think. I was gonna say last year, but I think they finished like 8-1 or 9-8 or
yeah.
something.
Forgot they got Allen Robinson, man. They this dude, they've got the running back, they've got good receivers, they've got two good tight ends now. Uh, if Kenny Pickett can make a pretty a good
Is it?
jump, they're gonna be all
Yeah.
right.
It's really how big of a believer are you in Kenny Pickett?
Well,
I don't.
they took him in the first round, so
I mean, I
they're
know that, but
believers.
The Browns took Johnny Manziel in the first round too. So it's like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, to get into the grade for this one, man, I'm a big fan of this one. This is one of my better ones. Don't know if I can give it an A, but it's close to an A minus for me. I'm gonna give it a B plus, maybe a B plus plus.
yeah, I'm right there with you.
Think so.
I think it was yeah.
Joey Porter
Darnell
that was
Washington
huge.
and Herbig, yeah.
They got three.
And it,
They
if they
got
would have
three
took
first rounders on their team.
if they took Joey Porter at 14, I still would have liked the pick.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, I think he's
it,
going to be a solid
Jones is
player.
a first rounder. Porter was pretty much a first rounder. He was actually my favorite corner coming in, and Washington was pretty much a first rounder. So
And
they
Benton's
got
underrated too.
and Benton's underrated. Herbig's gonna get some playing time. Um, man, it's right there. I might bump it up, dude. I'm at a B plus plus. I'm sticking to the B plus plus. So it's teetering on the A minus though. But we can't just give out A's to everybody. But if it yeah, it's a good draft. But man, this division's tough. They all had relatively good drafts. You know, the Ravens mediocre, but the Ravens never really draft poorly.
Do you think as a division sits, just clear and obvious, the Bengals are one? I mean, you think that?
Oh, yes. They've got the
Yeah.
best
Okay.
they got the
Okay.
best
So
quarterback in the division.
then the question is, who's
By the way,
two? Is it Baltimore?
we got 2 minutes left.
All right. Who do you think's two? Is it Baltimore or is it the Browns?
That's a toss up. 50-50. If I have gun to my head to pick, I'm picking Lamar over Deshaun right now.
I am too.
Because I love
But the
Lamar.
Browns team is
The
way
Browns
better.
team is good, but the Ravens
I
are the
think the
Ravens.
Browns roster is better than the Ravens roster.
The Browns will be the Browns, and the Ravens are winners. So you know,
Yeah.
it's kind of you go
And
with what you know.
The Steelers, if the
Steelers could
Steelers are
sneak
in,
up.
if
Steelers
the
could sneak
Steelers
up.
are in the NFC, they're probably a playoff team.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
well, covered DeAndre Hopkins, covered the AFC North, man. Tough division. I'm excited to see what happens with DeAndre Hopkins. Like I said, Panthers fan here. I'm sitting here hoping we spend the money and go do it. Because if
don't
he's
let the
just looking
Colts get
for,
him.
yeah, don't give Super Bowl MVP Anthony Richardson any more weapons. It's gonna be over. But
I think Richardson's gonna light it up.
well, you know I like Richardson. You know I do.
I mean,
I was a big fan. I was hoping for him when we were sitting at 9. So, but
yeah.
yeah, just to for our wager, we both think it's gonna be a Chiefs. But back up, if he doesn't go Chiefs, I'm on the Browns, and Josh is on the Jets. So we'll see how that plays out coming up probably the
Well,
next few days.
think about this. I know we got less than a minute here, so say it's the Jets or the Chiefs. Say they're the last two teams in the running for DeAndre Hopkins. I think whoever gets him, it pushes them over the edge.
It does.
If the
He's that
Jets
kind of
get him,
guy.
if the Jets get him,
Yeah,
it's so much closer to the Chiefs. If the Chiefs get him, they're winning the Super Bowl. It's not even a question.
he's that kind of
But
player, man. Well, we're gonna have to wrap it up here real quick. Appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.
see you.